Hey, John.
Roosevelt, hello, how are you?
Oh, man, I can't complain, man. It is a wonderful day here in the Atlanta area. It's a little gloomy and wet, but it can be worse, man. It can be worse.
I got just a little complaint. We're recording during the Saints game right now on Sunday, and I normally watch the Saints if I can get them, but they're winning, so let's go ahead and record this podcast. Hopefully they still will be by the time we're done.
Well,
But anyway,
the Atlanta area,
thanks so much for getting us all together here on the Sunday afternoon.
The Atlanta area, they turn out every Saints broadcast. I'm usually like checking my phone every 5 minutes. I'm so used to it now.
Yeah, they shut it down. They're following the Cowboys for some reason.
Yeah.
I have a feeling the manager at KMSS is a Cowboys fan. But enough football chat. I couldn't resist. It's such a beautiful day here.
Oh, okay. All right.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Man, we are going to talk to a lovely couple. We're going to talk to a couple that I truly admire because of the work that they do. They are the couple at the Highland Friendship House. It is Deidra and Eric Robertson. And we have a special guest with us. We have the little man. Yeah. What's up, little man?
That's our little muffin. That's Aiden. That's the little fella. We tried to put him to sleep, but he came on back downstairs. So
hey, it's all good, man. We take extra guests all
He's gonna be a star.
I know, right? Well, could you guys go ahead and introduce yourself to the podcast audience?
So I'm gonna let the husband go first. Go ahead.
My name is Eric Robertson. I grew up here in Shreveport. I'm from the Lakeside area. I graduated from Booker T.
Roosevelt graduated from Booker T.
Yeah. I'm in my late 40s, man. I hadn't quite made 50 yet, and I love the job we do here in Highland, man, because it'd be amazing to see the kids coming from a place that I came from, and they think when they 25, they OGs, you know what I'm saying? They just further they gotta go.
And so I'm Deidra Robertson, and of course I'm from Shreveport as well, but I grew up in the MLK area. I went to Magnet High, so didn't go to a Booker T or anything, but so yeah, and I'm from right around here. I went to UL. I'm a Raging Cajun. That's my alma mater, and been in the nonprofit world now, maybe about, I just turned 40 a couple of months ago. So I'm gonna say I've been in the nonprofit world maybe about 15 years. And love it here with Community Renewal because it allows us to further our mission of advancing God's kingdom in the neighborhood. And this is the great platform for it. So that's Deidra, mother of 2 boys and wife of Eric.
Oh, man. Just, hey, Booker T. Washington won the Super Bowl again.
No!
Yes.
They played Friday, didn't they?
I thought Green Oaks won.
No, Booker T won.
Oh.
I know y'all probably looking at the big screen. Let's search this real quick.
Yeah, so now how you know that over there? Because I certainly thought, I did not think that they won at all.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
right. That's right.
Shout out to the Mighty Lions.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I really did they won, y'all. Because mind you, I'm an MLK native, like I said. So all of my, I didn't go to Green Oaks, but all of my family went to Green Oaks. So we do still root for the Mighty Giants.
Oh yeah, it'd be a constant battle around here with
House divided.
House divided.
But Deidra, isn't it true to say though that Magnet football is undefeated?
I'm telling you, never lost a game, huh? Yeah.
That was a great T-shirt when my kids were there.
Never lost a game.
Oh man, that was a good one, John. I like that one.
Yeah.
Magnet got a good squad, so that's the truth.
Great squad. Yeah.
All right, so you guys, like I said, you guys are an admirable couple because just the work you do with the kids, man. I love it. I look up to you too.
Thank you so much.
I know I can see your love resonating from your family and into the hearts of those kids that come to you guys. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the Friendship House?
So okay, I live in the Highland Friendship House. If you see the letters behind me, Highland, woo, woo, woo. And so friendship houses are basically community centers, we'll say, kind of lights in a neighborhood where a family moves into the friendship house, and we begin to build relationships with the neighbors and the youth. One of the greatest parts about the program for me is the fact that we prioritize the relationship building over programming, over, we don't put numbers on people or anything like that. We prioritize the relationship. And that's one of the things that's motivated me to even stay with this organization, because like I said, I've been with nonprofits for about 15 years. And it's such a data and numbers game to where you almost lose the people in the game. And so when I came to Community Renewal and they allowed me the space to actually sit down and something as simple as just have dinner with my neighbors or have dinners with the students in my neighborhood, so we could actually get time to begin to get to know each other. So that's really what the Friendship House is. It's supposed to be a beacon of light in the neighborhood where kids can come for after school programming. Maybe before we leave, I can show you around a little bit, but we have a computer lab here where our neighbors can come and use the computers. We have internet services that, carry the weight of what we need to do here as far as our neighbors and our students go. We have a little library. So it's just a place of partners. This is a safe place where partners can come into the neighborhood. And while we don't like the term service providers, it's a safe space where people can come and we can give the kids what they need, whether it be counseling, whether it be job services, whether it be just a man to help them change the oil, those kind of things.
That's what I was going to more or less say. I came to Community Renewal through my wife. I'm actually a diesel mechanic. I got my CDL license. I like trucks. That's what I do. But it'd be amazing to a lot of stuff you take for granted growing up. By a lot of the kids, I grew up with my mom and my dad. My dad, it was more or less my rock. My mama just told me that you got to be, you got to be heart-filled in some of the things you do. You just can't approach, our situations with an iron fist, basically what I'm trying to say, because my dad was cut and dry, bro. And if you didn't do it, this was going to happen. And, I'm learning with a lot of these kids, they don't care about the consequences. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you got to deal with them on their type of level. You got to, ask them what they're looking for. You're not going to get a different result if you keep doing the same thing, basically. You know what I mean? I could give you a fish, or I could tell you what to do and teach you how to fish, and you can feed your family. You know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of them are. I'm not going to call the school, but I got kids that actually said that some of the schools be divided as far as how they treat them, So I be trying to tell them basically, it's how you carry yourself, your integrity, your dignity and what you do is what really is going to carry you further in life, because the world could be your neighborhood. You're not classified to one, small area, and a lot of times, like I said, it'd be amazing some of the things of them being guys and boys, just teaching them how to tie a tie.
And I was going to say that
little stuff like that.
Sadly, because there's an absence of fathers in a great deal of the homes, a lot of our boys are just looking for a male figure, and I remember when I first started this, because, I'm kind of the iron fist, I guess, of the relationship. He always says, I'm the gas and he's the brake, So when I first started, my husband would always tell me these boys get tired of women telling them what to do. They get sick of women telling them what to do, from mamas to teachers to, because they're just surrounded by females. And so I began to really, really absorb that and take, listen to him and say, well, they do need the male figure, because they do need that guidance. And, some of them, our club is really heavy with boys. And I believe it's solely because my husband is so active in the club. They're looking for not necessarily a father figure, but they're looking to be validated by a man, because, I say it's women surrounding them all over. But I know me and him can talk about this. So you shoot us another question and tell us, because we can keep it going. Yeah,
we really can. Because like I say, it really gets deep when it comes down to my boys, man, because, I be trying to tell them that you're going to always have to deal with people, no matter what you do, you have to deal with people.
And this is a great avenue.
So, yeah.
This is a great avenue to help our boys and stuff deal with different cultures of people. Again, like I said, it's a safe space. So my boys would never meet a John Perkins or a Mike Leonard or a Mac McCarter. They would never meet someone like that in their normal space. And, and you have to, the relationship part, you can get them past being intimidated by someone of another race. Because when they first meet John, they may not talk to John at all. But, through the relationship building and the courage. And
like the Rotary Club. We had a Rotary Club that came here and did a couple of things. They used to come in and host a game night. come in. It's not video games, you play board games. You know, we had some of them that tried to play basketball against them youngsters. I mean, you would sweat if they had energy in cans, bro. You know what I mean? Because it was amazing how like some of them Adrian Perkins came play basketball with us once before. He cramped up too. He had to leave. I mean, it just.
But it's an amazing experience
thing just to see how they open up. You know?
All these different classes and different cultures come. Let's let them.
Yeah, my bad. Because they feel genuine. You know what I mean? They got to know that it's coming from a genuine spot. You're not just here to get brownie points off of them.
Or take pictures.
Yeah, you actually, you know what I mean, want to tell them that there's something further. I like what my wife does because she do the transition. We can talk about it. Yeah, I like how they transition from school to adulthood. We had a kid living with us, bro, for like 3 or 4 years. And it's amazing.
Keep going because you're doing great. I see that passion in y'all, man. Yeah. And I love it because, you know, this is the type of passion that we don't see a lot of, but it is out there. It's out there. And I'm just happy that you guys are in the position you are in to affect these kids. That's what really just warms my heart, that you guys are in the position you are in to affect these kids, because you know, you're right, you need that. You need, you know, my son, if I tell him the sky is blue,
oh, he's gonna buck.
He's gonna be like, man. But then if Kobe Bryant was here and he told him the sky was blue, he was like, man, no, the sky is blue, the world is blue. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna take it all in. Whatever he say is word, you know. So sometimes you do need that extra validation, and you know, you need that change of pace. You need that other. I like for my kids to talk to other adults, because they don't believe that their parents have been kids too. Think about it, John. Right. Yo, I bet you your kids always thought that you had a beard and was over 30.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I don't know anything. They're in their 20s now, and they still think I don't know very much about life. Right. And they hit a certain age, they think they can take you. You know, that they'll catch you when you're snoozing a little bit, and they can come up behind you or something and take you down. That's right. No. And you gotta let them know, you know, because that ain't gonna happen. Bro. But it's a great thing that you guys do. I know I've been a guest at plenty of the Monday morning meetings, and I got invited as a guest one time, and I just keep coming back because the culture, the corporate culture, the body of that group is very powerful and inspiring, just to be around you guys and to listen for a little bit. And there's so many great stories about little guy that age comes to the kids club early, and they wind up graduating high school and getting into college after a time. You know, it's an amazing path these kids are on with you guys, and we need more friendship houses. How did you get into it, Deidra?
So short story. So when I graduated from college, I was a criminal justice major. He's going to take my 3-year-old upstairs, so give me just a second. He'll be right back. But so I was a criminal justice major, and so I really thought, you know, Lord, I'm supposed to work with underprivileged. I'm supposed to work with the underdogs, but no one would ever hire me. Like, I tried from the state penitentiary to Hunt's Correctional. I would try probation and parole, and literally nobody would ever call me. And so I started my path in nonprofit, and I began working with mental health clients. And from there, I was blessed to get a position as the director of women and family at the Salvation Army. And I stayed there for several years. And I say all that to say, being at the Salvation Army, it taught me a lot. But I had to say, you know, Lord, I want to be able to work with people before they get trapped in these vicious cycles of addiction and homelessness and bad money management and all this kind of things. So I pray, you know, that God would put me in a position. So I started working for a teen outreach program for a local nonprofit that shall remain nameless. And I worked there for maybe about a month, and I got fired. And from there, I just kind of walked on over to community renewal, and I saw the freedom to exercise your faith, whether you were a Christian, whether you were a Muslim, you know, and I appreciated that Mac always said, we are not faith-based, we're faith-driven. You know, that spoke volumes to me because, you know, we're in the South. Most places, if you weren't Christian, then they would kind of just expel you. So I just loved the welcoming environment. And I knew that I had been called to the ministry of teens. I had worked in teen ministry in my church as well. And so I started as the director of Operation Hope. And that's just a position just to work with our middle and high school kids, getting them set up for after high school, creating a path basically for after high school. And the previous community coordinator came to me one day and she said, look, I'm about to leave and go into ministry, and I would love if you would take my spot. And so I said, my husband's a diesel mechanic by trade. This kind of ministry was just not his thing at all. Okay. Like I say, he's a hands guy. He likes to build stuff and stuff like that. And so I came home and I told him, I was like, I have this opportunity to further this ministry that I believe I've been called to. And, thank God he was on board, because we moved out of our home to move into this home, and we were I have to say, we were in a safer, we lived in Highland, but it was a safer side of Highland. We were farther down, like close to Fairfield. So, to move over to this area, it was like, man, I grew up in the MLK area. He grew up in Lakeside. We didn't necessarily want to bring our children up in what we grew up in, hearing gunshots and stuff like that at night. So it was a major decision to move from the comfort of our little small home in a safe zone that we felt like, to move here and incur all kinds of, because this is trauma and stress on a different level, moving into this neighborhood. But, I just, the call had to go beyond just going to church every Sunday. So we took the call and we came in.
I feel like we could use more friendship houses. How many are there right now in Shreveport Bossier? 10? 10, yeah, because I hear gunshots in my neighborhood. Everybody in Shreveport hears gunshots these days. It's hard to get away from them. But I've looked at maps where there's gun incidents, like deaths and injuries with guns, and they're kind of where the friendship houses ain't. It's like, if you look around the friendship house, it's pretty peaceful there. How do you guys get established in the neighborhood? Somebody has to build a house and move into it, I guess, and then you go out and
it's kind of just, you got to meet your neighbors, man. I remember when I first started, I used to be a community coordinator. Now I'm not, and I don't know what I'm going to be again. It's kind of like, I'm the head of my family. My wife's like the neck. So it's wherever she moves, I kind of go that way. You know what I mean? So I'm basically with her. I enjoy it so much to where it don't even feel like, I learn more from them than I learn from myself, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of stuff, they're too emotional, bro. You know what I mean? They get mad at somebody for stepping on their shoes. One guy, I remember a kid that rolled on the other kid's arm with a marker on his jacket. This dude cried like 30 minutes about his jacket, bro.
Yeah.
They're too sensitive, but I really believe that comes from being raised by women and not having, a woman can raise a man, bro, no matter how you lace it.
We talk about how we got established.
Oh, for real? Well, yeah, just like I said, it's basically, she's the reason I'm here. So I would go, like I said, I'm the head, but I would go wherever she.
And he's much more of the people person. Yeah. When you're getting established here, when we're moving here, somebody has to be the person that gets out and talks to the neighbors, and the friendly person. That's much more his personality. He's a very friendly, doesn't know a stranger kind of person. I'm more of the administrative brain behind that. So when we first moved into the neighborhood, we have another partner. Like I said, there are 10 friendship houses. There's one house dedicated to kids, and there's one house that's dedicated to middle and high school students. And so those two partner, they mimic, look, I just so happen to have the book here. So we do the Master Plan of Evangelism is a book that we read. But anyway, they mimic Jesus and his disciples. They go out 2 by 2s. You're not supposed to go out by yourself. Right. And so him, big 6-foot black man, and my partner, who's a smaller, dainty white lady, they would go out and just meet neighbors. oddest, you know what I mean? That's a very odd combination there. So when people see them walking down the street, they're like, well, hey, you know, and so they just get out and meet people. One of the benefits for us in Highland, I have to say, is my partner has longevity that is unmatched. My partner has been in this neighborhood 25 plus years. So my partner is grounded. And that's why I say the relationship part is what separates us from other organizations, because she knows who's lived and died, who's moved. She knows that this church has had 3 different pastors in the past 4 or 5. You know, she keeps up with those kind of things. She knows who's sick. And so when you have that type of a partnership, when you can work together, my partner who's older than I am, so she does senior citizen luncheons there. She hosts Celebrate Recovery there. These are you know, I say the Friendship House works to eliminate barriers. So if transportation is a barrier for you, it's right here in the neighborhood. You can just walk to a senior citizen luncheon. We have family nights here for the parents of our students and neighbors around. Just come on over, enjoy a meal, enjoy fellowship. We're not trying to sell you something. Now, we may have the MLK Center come in and talk to you about diabetes, because that's such a big issue in our neighborhood. And we see so many people who don't get the care that they need or don't have this. So we do bring those resources to our neighbors. But that's you know, go ahead.
We don't actually do, like I say, it's family oriented. It's not just the kids, you know what I mean? Anybody in the family that they having any problem, we do this ARA thing, right? We help people get their high school HACCPs, their GEDs. And I really enjoy that part of it, because it's kind of like you watch the kids come from being kids to adults, you know, from not living. Our biggest thing around the region, I always say, where your house at? I said, no, that's your mama house. You know what I mean? We got to let you learn that you got to get your own to grow up to become, so that you can be able to be fruitful to take care of your own family. You know, you can't live with your mom forever.
And we work with the willing. If they're not
exactly.
willing, then, you know, like you say, you shake your dust off your feet and you move on, because we have to work with those rules.
You got to get out of school, high school, to realize what you're going to do with you. Everybody's not going to college. I didn't go to college, but I got a couple trades, you know, like I drive trucks, I work on trucks. So I'm not expecting everybody to go to college, but they're going to pay you for what you know. If you don't know nothing, you're not gonna make nothing. You know what I mean? Minimum wage is just.
How we get established?
Oh, well, that's how we establish the kids into where they at. That's what I was talking about. My bad. Like I said,
just keep it rolling.
I went out on rabbit trails, you know. But I just like to see. I like to see them learn. You know what I mean? Just like my kid. I got a 9-year-old, bro. He runs circles around me on this video game, but he can't rake half the yard. You know what I mean? It be that type of thing. You know, they get wiser in some things and weaker in others. You know? So I'm just trying to let them determine the two, you know? That's all. Like I said, we can run on about this here forever.
And you know, I don't mind, you know, because like I said, that's the type of love we need. That like I'm just observing your background. I see you have Psalm 93 and 4. Mightier than the waves of the sea is his love for you.
Love for us. That's right. That's right.
You know, and I see that, and kids, they hear that, but when they come to you guys' house, they feel that.
They feel that. That's right. That's right. And mind you, we have Bible scriptures. We got scriptures from the Quran. We got old African proverbs. You know what I mean? All kinds of wisdom from all kinds of sources. You know, and that, you know, that's one of the greatest things that I try to encourage my kids. Seek knowledge. Stop always, you know what I mean? Seek knowledge, because kids, it just amazes me now how they are just, you know, just the repetition and just kind of taking what somebody gives you all over. We do a lesson, excuse me, I'm not going to interrupt you, but we do a lesson in club every year. Focus on the music that you listen to. Break it down. We all listen to music. We've all had our, you know, Master P, Juvenile, whatever days, 90s, baby. So, you know, that was our thing, you know. But now, of course, it's NBA Youngboy and Juice WRLD and Trippie Redd. And it's like, okay, so let's break down some of these lyrics that you listen to.
Yeah, I be having to explain to them, you know, a lot of these rappers talk about these drugs. And as I said, dude, now, these cats are like cartoon characters or like comic book characters. You're not finna do drugs and drink lean out for all day. You know what I mean?
You just have to bring some
impossible. You know what I mean? Just let them know that this is impossible, bro. You can't ride around and drink and do all this all day, man. You know what I mean? These are just songs, you know.
A lot of our parents work, so a lot of our kids are at home alone a lot of the times. So, you know, we try to, you know,
I-
here in
Sorry.
this club, we try to break stereotypes. We have primarily African-American youth.
And we like to talk to them. You know,
every
that be
kid
the
in
thing.
here
You
is
never
Black.
know. That's right. You never know what their minds be. I have more problems out of the junior high school kids than I do high school kids. Junior high school kids, like they got something to prove. You know, like they got to be tough to be bad. You know what I mean? Now, dude, it ain't like that. I'm a gentle giant. I don't gotta throw my weight around and show I'm bad and that. You know what I mean? That ain't never been me. And that's what I be trying to get my boys to understand, bro. You know, it's best to be seen and not heard. You know, and that's what me and Deidra tell them a lot of times. You know what I mean? Just think about the situation, because some of the stuff you do, like the words out of your mouth, man, you can't take that type of stuff back. So you just got to be mindful in what you do. You know, so we got a good balance between the two, because, like I say, respect go a long way for me. You know, and if you can't respect the situation, you know, you can only help the women.
Hey, do you feel, I know you said something about the junior high school. I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and they're in junior high school right now.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny because me and Deidra talked about this. Those middle school kids, that maturity level just ain't hit that. You know, it ain't up there.
Nah, they
right?
wow. That's right.
You know, you got that maturity level, and I know John can probably contest to this, because you had two boys, and you probably can map their maturity level, and by the time it matched their height, you know, I always say boys' maturity level never match their height.
They don't.
No.
And by the time they match their height, they're out the house, 30 years old, you know, got kids on their own. That's when finally their maturity level match their height.
You're right. That's right. Because all of us are men, so you know exactly what it means. You know, you can tell me not to try it. I'm gonna try it anyway just to see. You know, I understand exactly what you said.
Yeah, you said when you said junior high school, I was like, man, I'm going through that right now.
That's it, bro.
I feel it. You hit me right in the heart.
Yeah.
So
that's like they don't believe you.
now, one of you said that you have, Deidra, you graduated from UL, you know, Raging Cajun. And Eric, you have your diesel license and repair license, right? You know, I like that combination. And the reason I say I like that combination is because you two show that there's two paths that you can go and still be productive.
That's it.
Sure enough.
That's it.
Sure enough.
You know,
he's the blue collar.
Yeah, everybody's not gonna be sports and slang dope and all this here, you know what I mean? You gotta.
He's the blue collar.
Right.
I'm the academic.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it's you know, for us, of course, it's the perfect balance.
Longevity,
you know what I mean?
what it is.
But I mean, it's just, you know, we are two total opposites. And I believe, you know, a lot of our kids, one of the greatest blessings for me, a lot of our kids have changed their views on marriage just by seeing Eric and I, you know what I mean? Didn't think that they would ever get married. And you know, can you curse on this thing, or should we watch our language? And I was only going to say, because they're so used to the B word and H word and B word and H word. And it's like, you know, we don't tolerate disrespect in here. You know, we don't tolerate disrespect in here, you know, and they see how he treats his woman, you know what I mean? And they see how happy his woman is. So it's like, you know, it changes the dynamic, because they, for the most part, done the baby mama, baby daddy stuff. That's kind of what they've seen parents fighting and just, you know, constant drama. So, you know, that's one of the greatest things that I've appreciated, because now I have my 16, 17-year-old boys say, but I can't wait till I find me a good woman. You know, they'll come up to me now and say, what does it mean to be a good woman? What should I be looking for? And there was once upon a time, so they were just looking for, quantity, just a whole bunch of them. You know, they sleep with this one, and this one. But now, and I had one of my kids ask me just last week, one of my girls, she says, why is it so important that girls protect their bodies and stay virgins into marriage, but it's not important for boys? And one of my boys chimed in and he said, it is important to me. I do plan to protect my body until I get married. Well, that spoke volumes to this little 11-year-old girl, to hear a 17-year-old. And for the most part, this is one of my popular kids, basketball star, you know, for someone like him. And like I told him, I respect you and I admire you for even having the courage to be a boy, you know, a teenage boy that's going to say something like that. Because like he said, so many of them now, They just want to, do what their homeboys are doing what they see an NBA young boy doing, And I remember asking them the other day, what kind of father do you think NBA young boy is? And their response was, well, Miss Deidra, he always got his kids. And they showed me 2 or 3 of his videos where he had the kids in there. And I'm like, but what type of father do you see him being? It's one thing to, and so that makes them think, and one of them left out of here the other day and they was like, Miss Deidra, we should have conversations like this in school. And it's my job to fill some of the gaps that we don't have in school. And I know I can go on, going to a magnet high versus a Booker T. It's just a vast difference in the things that we were exposed to at Magnet High as opposed to what my friends were exposed to who went to Green Oaks or who went to Booker T. So you can, through the avenue of the Friendship House and partnerships, we can begin to fill some of those cracks and some of those spaces that our kids are not getting in high school.
Yeah, I love how you brought up the cup, because I was going to talk about that couple thing, because you two have kind of this unsaid communication. Right, I can see it. It's like he'll be talking, and you want to chime in. And he's like, I got you, right. And I can feel what he's saying. Like, just give me a second, I'll finish. Right, but communication is the key to a lot of the problems that we have: relationship problems, gang problems, and I think we even said, you talked about this. Gangs are really just a bunch of homies that's hanging with each other, that I got your back, you got my back. But being of that age, they take it to another level, right? Because you're always going to have a hard head that's going to do something. Now I got to fight this guy. Now he's my enemy. He used to be my friend from 5th grade. It's a lot of, whatever in there. But communication. And that's one of the things we don't talk about a lot, is teaching how to communicate. And communication can be many different things. Like me and John, we communicate with this podcast, right?
Yep.
And you two, y'all have that kind of unsaid kind of wink wink communication that couples have, right? And that's a great thing to have. Let's talk about the communication of the children. And I know one of the things we talked about is getting the kids into a podcast.
Yes. So kids don't feel like I can only speak for my small group of teens, but they represent a larger group of teens. They don't necessarily feel like they have a voice, like I said, boys get tired of women telling them what to do. They have a voice. They want to say something that I may not even necessarily understand, And so giving them the platform to communicate their thoughts, their needs, their desires, is the podcast is just kind of how we came upon that. Now, my husband knows that I've been talking about a YouTube channel and all these things, trying to get all this stuff going, because I've tried to give them an avenue to get their voices heard. We go to city council meetings, things like that. And I try to get them all worked up to get in front of city council and express some of these things that you said in club, but they just don't have the courage. They don't have the public speaking skills. Just several things that just, that make them feel intimidated by the whole process. So something like a podcast where they're in the safety, the comfort of our own club. It's just, we started last week doing little video testimonials, just kind of getting them used to even seeing themselves on camera and then going back and listening to your own voice, just stuff like that, because we want to break the mold in giving our teenagers a voice in Shreveport, not on some national level or anything like that. Right here, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, where we are, we want to give our kids a voice so that they can communicate a lot of these conversations and things. They have young kings, and some of the conversations these men have behind closed doors when it's just men. Like, it would have been nice to know some of these things as a girl growing up, or just, what I'm saying? So we want to give them a voice, give them a platform, because people are always making decisions for them. If you're familiar with here, there was a lot of drama going on in Southwood, and you got gang violence here and gang violence there. And who listened to the kids? Who heard their voice? All we got was what Channel 3 said, or what Channel 12 said, or what Timmy Lane or Love Shreveport said on Facebook. That's all you get. You don't get a voice from them to break down what's going on in our communities.
Yeah. I love it. I am here for you guys. I want to see you guys shoot to the moon, because you need that. Kids need to be able to communicate. right? Kids need to be able to express themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, they need to be able to, and then sometimes just talking about it, just conversating about it, really having just a regular conversation about it with other people kind of gives you a different, way of thinking, different way of hearing it. And
knowledge is power. So, if they don't know, you got to tell them. It's a difference between ignorance and stupidity. You know what I mean? Ignorance is not knowing. Now if you do the same thing, you just being stupid. But if you come to me and ask me a question, I'm gonna give you my best answer, and then that helps out with the ignorance part. Now, if you go and still do the same thing, think you're gonna get a different outcome, you just being stupid, young man. You got to learn the different ways, and that's basically what I be trying to tell them. If you just sit still and pay attention, man, you're gonna see the outcome. Just be patient, bro. Listen. You already gonna be misinterpreted. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be misunderstood from Jump Street. So just be patient and listen, because a lot of times me and her don't see eye to eye, but we try to get to the same spot. You know what I'm saying? So she might go up, I might go under, but we're gonna get to the same spot. You know what I mean? So that's
John, what do they call that? What's Kim call that?
Arguing well.
Arguing to agreement.
Arguing to agree.
That's it.
Arguing to agreement.
That's right.
Yeah.
Argue to agreement. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
There's some talent in here, I think it's just, what I mean? Don't get me started on the rabbit trail talking about the magnet system, but there's so much talent right at Booker T. There's so much talent at Woodlawn, and somebody's got to highlight it. Somebody has to pay attention to it. The school system is overworked and it's just so much going on there. And little neighborhood, we are big community advocates. We address subjects here that people may not. We talk about the welfare system and we talk, and the history of welfare and the importance of community and reducing governmental dependence and things of that nature. Like, these are not popular topics, but because I've known my kids since they were 11, most of them, I've known my parents for years, we feel comfortable enough to be able to have some of these conversations in an open place. We bring in different opinions. We have police panels. So where they're just not hearing Miss Deidra's perspective or Mr. Eric's perspective, we bring in partners. And that's why I say there's the value of the different cultures and the different, I don't like classes, but just the different classes of people when you bring in all these different opinions.
And that's how we settle stuff here in club. If we have a disagreement or something as us kids, we let the kids be their own.
We hold full-fledged court. If there's an issue going on in club, like he talked about where the guy, the truth was he wrote a penis on this kid's jacket, all right? Yeah. And so we were going to, that's a real violation. That's defamation of property, all kinds of stuff. And so, of course, bam, you're going to be suspended for 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. But no, we have a process. So we had court in club. The young man who did the drawing, we had a senior represent him. The other kid whose jacket was drawn on, we had somebody, represent him.
He apologized sincerely, bro.
Sincerely. So, the kid, it was a joke. You know what I mean? But
just like I tell other kids, don't let the shoe be on the other foot. Now, you can be strict and hard on this guy for the mistakes he made, but just remember, you're going to make a mistake.
Because that's the lesson. The kid who had his jacket drawn on, he was upset because the kids, we had a jury.
And he's one of the baddest actors around here.
The kids decided that we will not suspend him. We will get his jacket clean, but since he sincerely apologized, he was one of those kids who you really kind of want to keep close because he was getting in trouble. So we decided that we would not suspend him. Right. But this made the other kid very angry. He got very, very upset. He wanted him suspended. He wanted him kicked out. But then we had to bring back to his remembrance the year before, he stole a video game.
He was still.
We had the whole court for him, right. And they made a similar decision not to suspend him. Long as he brought the game back, they allowed him to come back. So, mercy is shown. You got to give mercy if you expect mercy. So that's one of those lessons. And I'm gonna stop talking because I know John wants to get to the game. So I'm gonna shut it down.
No, I want to hear more about when are you guys going to start the podcast?
So we're gonna do another one of these with our kids next week with Roosevelt, and we plan to launch the following week.
I got one more question, and let me just say I just looked, and 21-21 end of regular play. We're going into overtime, but take your time and answer the question. But I'm wondering, you know, how can the broader community, people who look more like me, how can we all get involved and support what you guys are doing without getting in your way?
Well, at this point, we need a lot of help with, of course, the editing and just getting our message out there. It's really difficult with, you know, I work full time, my kids are in high school, and we're trying to, you know, edit little videos and stuff like that. So right now, that's a major void. Somebody to just help pull all our things together, because we've got videos, we've got this, we've got that. So that's one way that I'm really, really trying. And John, you know, we have offered money, all kinds of stuff. It is really hard to just find somebody to come in and help with the videography and stuff like that. That's one of the biggest ways people can.
That was how I made my living for a long time. So maybe I could offer to help there. If nobody else wants to step forward, I can sure get you started with that.
I love that. You can come by here any day, because that's our biggest thing right now, is just getting started. I have to thank Roosevelt, because he helped me out a lot, because now we can at least get started with the podcast, because now I think I have a little bit enough knowledge to do that. But we're looking to interview people. We need story ideas. These are ways that people can partner to give us, because while my kids are talented, they've not really been trained to think. They're not really creative thinkers. So you got to really kind of give them ideas, and then they'll jump on.
Well, nobody thought I had a shot at anything when I was a teenager. I was crazy. I had just a smidgen of ADHD, and they thought that. So I'm living proof that you can learn. I sort of taught myself how to do what I do, but I'm happy to.
And I have some kids who are really interested, and you know, one of them in particular, Junior. Junior was supposed to graduate from Byrd last year, but he didn't graduate. But he struggled academically. He's been mine for years. Okay, I've had Junior for years, but he struggled academically. So he didn't graduate. So now he's back at Byrd doing like a half a day. And you know, and I told him, I was like, I really admire you for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it takes a lot to swallow your pride and go back to school after your class has graduated, you know, but he's one of my most talented videographers. But he has to work. He works at a burrito stand or whatever in Bossier, but he has to work. But he has so much talent and so much potential. And he comes to club on Mondays and Wednesdays strictly to help with the editing and videography and stuff. So,
well, I want to meet him. He's my kind of guy. That's the way I did it the hard way. And I started working at a radio station and a job a teenager could do to make money after school, and wound up making a career out of it. So anybody can do anything if they set their mind to it.
That's right. And just with a little intention, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, John, Bob Griffin, the young man he was talking about, who of course now is our son, who had to live with us, but Bob Griffin took him up under his wing, you know, got him a little camera, and before you knew it, he was at the Independence Bowl filming videos. Now he's, you know, planning to go into business of his own, and all that was just from a good citizen being intentional. An old white guy took a young teenage black boy under his wing, and the relationship just flourished. So
that's a great story. Thank you so much. You come by any
day, John, because you live right here in Highland, don't you?
I go to church in Highland, so I might stop by either later today or this week, because I'm over there in Highland. You know, our church moved into the Highland Center. So, I was just over there, but I'll find you guys.
We're at the corner of Gilbert and Prospect, and we have clubs Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6.
3 to 6, that's right.
Okay, great. I'll come say hello.
Stop by.
All right. Hey, Roosevelt, so this has been a great show. I got to say, these guys inspire me more than anything. I think what they're doing in Highland neighborhood and what Community Renewal is doing all over Shreveport and now all over the United States and reaching out to the world is an amazing just presence in a world that seems to be not doing that great. These guys inspire me. Thank you for having me on with you as your co-host. So tell them where they can find the podcast and learn more about everything.
Well, you know, you can always find a podcast on YouTube. You can also find a podcast if you listen to podcasts, your favorite podcast from Apple Music, Google, all over the place. If you catch us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. It helps the algorithm to push us up to the top. Also, if you listen on the podcast, make sure you subscribe on the podcast. You can check and see and get all of our podcasts and either updates. We are trying to catch up with the podcast, so probably in the next week or so, you're going to see that we're going to put up 3 more podcasts that you can listen. So I just want to thank Eric and Deidra for coming on with us and hanging out with us and just inspiring us once again. You know, I just love you guys.
Thank y'all for having us. We love y'all too.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
All right, John, I will see you later. Stay blessed. And thank you.
Man. Can't wait till the next time. These are always so much fun. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you for listening, everybody, and have a wonderful day.